John, thank you so much for chatting with me about why you love Arkansas, why you call Arkansas home. I'm just gonna launch right in and just get to it. Why do you live in Arkansas, John?
Because I was kicked out of Louisiana. When
Really?
yeah, when I was, 26, I was living in Louisiana, just kinda got nowhere real fast, and I had a sister that lived here, and that's how I ended up here. She says, "Why don't you come out, move to, live with me in Little Rock, enroll in graduate school, get a job, figure out what you wanna do with your life," and I said, "That's about as good as the offer I've had," so that's how I ended up in Arkansas.
Wow. So can you tell me more? Why'd you leave Louisiana?
When I was, I wanted to be a football coach, so that's kind of, I was a big sports enthusiast. And these days I'm openly gay. I wasn't back then, but it was obvious to me that that wasn't going to be a good career for me, and really didn't know what I wanted to do. So, just did what most people in South Louisiana do: start drinking and partying, and
Yes.
started going nowhere pretty fast. So,
Mhm.
and my mother saw that and said,
Mm.
you need to get out of here, go figure out something to do with your life before you get into a whole lot of trouble. And so my older sister, she called my older sister. My older sister called me and said, "Why don't you come live with me for a year?" And so I moved up to Little Rock, enrolled in grad school at UALR, got a job, and 3 months later, she moved to New York, and I've been here ever since.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow. So you all were
yeah,
living together just for 3 months then?
yeah, that's right.
Okay, okay, wow. And so where in South Louisiana were you?
I'm from the Lafayette, Louisiana area, St.
Okay.
Martinville, small
So
town. It's where I
down
live.
there. So you were here for 3 months and then your sister left. What kept you? Obviously something must have you enrolled in school. Was there something about the place that really made you say, "Hey, I'm gonna put down roots here"?
It took a while. It took a few years. It was extremely stressful. I left, some really important relationship and some, so it was very difficult for me at the time. I was lonely and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was fortunate enough that I met someone in the investment business, and he offered an interview. And so the next day I went interview with him and the firm, and they hired me. And that was 1984-ish, somewhere right in there. And really fell in love with the business, and had this great opportunity and moved up pretty quickly in the business. And then in 1989 formed my own company and created my own company, and I've had my own company for the last 35 years. Yeah,
Wow. Have you ever thought about leaving Arkansas?
I have not. There was a few times, obviously politically, I'm more aligned with the blue states than I am with, a deep red state like we're in these days. Um, but I found that I had so many opportunities, and I really um, I got engaged in the community really fast. And when you're an investment advisor, you're working with a lot of clients, obviously. So I quickly met a lot of people who were doing some really cool stuff, and got to be friends with a lot of really interesting people pretty fast. And that just expanded over time. And then Argenta came along.
Yeah, I feel like you were a big part of Argenta's development. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I guess in 2000, my husband and I, Clarky, decided we wanted to move downtown. We were living in West Little Rock at the time, and so we looked at Little Rock, and so we had lived in Little Rock 20 years, and looked at downtown, looked at some of the high rises, and I was painting at the time, and I wanted an art gallery and my offices and a condo, and hopefully all in one building. And so I couldn't really find anything in Little Rock. So decided, someone said, "Well, have you checked out, Argenta in downtown North Little Rock?" And I said, "No, how do I get there? I've never been to downtown North Little Rock after 20 years of living in Little Rock." And someone said, "Well, just take one of the bridges." So I took the Main Street Bridge, came across, and just came right downtown into the Argenta Arts District today. And almost every building was empty, but it had the scalability of my hometown was very much like that, with the two-story buildings. Somebody living above, shops on the bottom. So very scalable, very doable for me as somebody that could come in and maybe have an impact. Originally, I just wanted one building, And then I was like, okay, if I'm going to be the only one down here, that's not going to work. So I decided that I really needed to have some scale. And then my mind shifted into kind of master planning and development rather than just looking for a house to live in. And that's really what led to the I guess the redevelopment of Argenta.
What are you most proud of when it comes to where you live?
Um, Gosh, there's so many things, but I've been involved in a lot of the starting the Argenta Downtown Council, the Argenta Arts District, Thea Foundation was there. I helped them get their building, the Argenta Community Theater. But I think the most impactful piece may have been I founded the Arkansas Regional Innovation Hub, the hub, which really is a STEAM-oriented space. Incredible science and technology, engineering, arts, and math are all going in there with a maker space, entrepreneur space, gallery, and really a place for creatives that I knew that if we had a place like that, it would attract, it would help us develop the talent locally and attract talent. And if we were wise, retain the talent that was here. And that's actually what's occurred. The model I saw was in Boston and Cambridge, and they had an innovation center. And I started seeing, and they saw and attracted corporate headquarters started coming nearby because that's where all the talent was in these innovation centers. And so I brought that idea back, and I was very fortunate. I had some really great people working with me, like Judge Barry Hyde, Pat Hayes, Mayor Pat Hayes, and so many others that were part of the vision and helped it become a reality. And today we have 4 or 5, international headquarters located right here in the Argenta Arts District, and their employees are walking around, eating and drinking and buying art and making this really incredible walkable neighborhood into something special.
That's so cool. Congratulations on all of the
Thanks.
success, as a fellow art lover, just, being on the Kanza board with you and just seeing the arts that you brought to Argenta has been really cool, and collaborated with artists to bring that to Argenta has been really cool to see. What kind of fond memories or just any type of memory in terms of place? Do you have any favorites that jump out just in terms of being an Arkansan?
Yeah, I'm certainly Argenta. I spend a lot of time here, obviously, but also Fayetteville. I've got a place up in Fayetteville. It's also has that walkability. I've got a place, pretty downtown. I love the walkable environment where I can just walk out and just bump into fun, and in both places. There's a lot of content. This past weekend here in Argenta, we had the Dogtown Throwdown and the streets were closed and everybody was partying on the
So
streets and
fun.
listening to the big damn horns. And so those type that and I've got season tickets for the Walton Arts Center and Theater Square in Fayetteville and get really involved up there as well. So I really like the walkable neighborhood kind of feel to both places.
Yeah, that's I get that a lot. I love being able to walk places as well. You started to talk about how you wanted to be a football coach way back in the day. And you don't, I mean, and I maybe this is just not us exploring the nuance of people enough, but you don't meet a whole lot of really staunch football fans and really staunch art lovers being combined in one person. So do you still have that love of football?
I do, yeah, in all sports. These days, it's probably more track and field, but
Hmm.
yeah, I'm a pretty big Razorback and fan, and kind of all sports. Yeah, so yeah, I love sports, and Fayetteville is the kind of the headquarters in the state for collegiate level sports. So that's a big thing for us to go spend time up there as well. Yeah, absolutely. And there's one of the biggest sports personalities in the state is Coach Darrell Walker at UALR, and Darrell has one of the largest African American art collections in the country. So he's a huge art
What?
collector. Yeah.
I
So
didn't
yeah,
know
you do see
that.
it sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
huge soccer fan and I am a theater lover. So I get it. It's just to hear, oh, I was going to be a football coach and then I started painting and investing. You just doing it all, John. That's really cool. Um, do you do you go to Razorback games? Have you been?
I, I
Did you go
do.
last season?
Yeah, we had season tickets for, 20 plus years. The last 2 years, we let our tickets go. My husband, Clark, is 83, so he can't walk to the stadium like he used to, and which is about a mile from our place. So we just watch it. We go up to Fayetteville for the games, so every Friday night before the game, we have our local restaurant we go to all the time with friends, and then these days we watch it. We watch the games on TV and get to do it in our robes, and uh,
Totally.
and watch all the instant replay kind of a thing.
Well, we'll have to get into your love of track and field at another time.
Yeah.
I was a track star in my high school
Oh,
days.
excellent. Yeah, I'm a
So
nut
long
about it.
ago. Yeah, very cool. So just a couple more questions, John. What is it that you love? Let me rephrase this. How would you describe Arkansans?
I find that my interaction since since coming here in 1982, 40 plus years ago, I've just had, I would say 99.99% great interpersonal relationships with people. And, and yes, we're on different political spectrums, but I've always felt just a welcoming by everybody that I've ever met here. And, and really, the land of opportunity was here for me. I really felt that I could do something with my life here, and everybody encouraged that and supported that. So I just a really welcoming place. In Little Rock and Fayetteville, are both pretty cosmopolitan at the same time. They're very small communities still, but very cosmopolitan in their thinking, and the people are very open and welcoming. If you'd have seen Argenta this past Friday and Saturday, a couple of people told me this. I saw somebody at church this weekend. She came to Capelas this weekend, and she says, 40 years ago, she says it was very vibrant. Then 30 years went by and it was terrible, and now it's so vibrant. She says, what I really loved was seeing all the different textures and colors of people walking around in Argenta, and it is. It's really a very welcoming and fulfilling place to live.
That's so cool. Last question. Do you have any hopes for Arkansas moving forward?
Yeah, my hopes are, really that we turn our back on the 50s again and join the more progressive movement and treat people like you want to be treated. And, and that's my big concern right now is that, or are good people turning backwards, and that's my big fear. So my hope is, and my future work, I guess, is going to be kind of aligned with change, helping keeping us moving forward.
Well, John, thank you so much for chatting with me today about why you call Arkansas home.
Thank you, Hilary. Great to see you. Call me about track and field.